so now that the one who is to come has arrived, and we have been singing glory to God in the highest, and we have embraced the light that shines in the darkness, what is life going to be like now? So I ask you to tell your neighbor, he is born. Now it's up to me, because now the task is to figure out what the implications are for us now that the promised one has been given to us. Now that we know that God has kept God's promise, now that we know that the one who will change the world has been given to us, how will we be changed? The evangelist of Luke gives us an opportunity to reflect on what Jesus' arrival means for us and the age to come, to contemplate how we will go about doing God's business. For us, the Christmas season is our time to live with God embodied, God real, God alive, God with us, and figure out how to respond to God's love and peace in our midst. And so we take this opportunity, the last Sunday of 2015, to begin to think about what is it going to be like for us going forward? What is going to be the call on our lives now that the anointed one has come into our midst? Will you pray with me? Merciful and loving God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gathering of your people in this worship celebration. We ask, oh God, that you come and meet us where we are. Come and reveal yourself in all the ways that we can receive and hear you moving. Oh God, come and be with us. Less of me, more of you. Speak through these lips of clay, that your people might hear a word for them. The words of my mouth and the meditation of every heart be acceptable with thee, our Redeemer, our rock, our refuge. Amen. Luke wrestles with the implications of God with us by looking at Jesus when he was 12 years old. And this is the only gospel to give us a window into the adolescent Jesus. And this passage forces us to contend with seeing only dimly what God intends for Jesus and his ministry. Jesus will have to grow in wisdom. Luke says it twice. Jesus will have to grow up. I think it's no mistake he says Jesus would have to grow up, because in this text, Jesus is kind of a little brat. But Jesus also gives us some sense of what it means to accept something about God, imposing God's life onto his. Jesus will have to grow in wisdom, but therein lies a message for us in our contemporary life. God intends something for us. People may have told you that's not true. Some may have discounted you and dismissed us, but God intends something for each of us. And we will have to grow in wisdom to see it all clearly. Jesus had a high calling that could not and would not be ignored. For what we see in the story of Jesus at the temple is that there are some promptings and urgings of the Spirit that call us to unplanned and unexpected places. It is often not easy to respond to those promptings. Doing so may cause conflict and no small amount of confusion, but we know that a faithful life with God involves the unfolding of new possibilities, new opportunities, new ways of being that may upset our lives. and may make a few people mad at us. Age 12 seemed like an appropriate age for Jesus to think about his own call. Science tells us now that age 12 is the developmental stage in which young people become more independent. They develop the capacity for broader, more complex thought. They become more self-absorbed and more self-focused. And they express less affection for their parents. Jesus in this story. And so as we reflect on the account of Jesus at the temple, we know that a 12-year-old is capable of engaging with adults at a real confrontational level about complex real life issues. And so it all started off routinely enough for this family, a faithful and observant Jewish family, along with extended family, neighbors, and friends, and hometown villagers, makes its annual pilgrimage to Jerusalem for Passover, with the 12-year-old Jesus in tow. And at the end of the festival, when the whole party travels to return, unbeknownst to them, Jesus stays behind. Oh, his parents see no reason to worry. There's a big crowd of family and friends, so apparently Jesus is with someone of them. It doesn't matter, he'll be okay. But when it becomes clear that Jesus is not among the pilgrims returning home, they search for him frantically. 3 days later, 3 days. Reverend Davis would have killed me. But anyway, 3 days later, they find Jesus in the temple where they left him. Luke says, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And that the people were amazed at his wisdom and what he knew. They were amazed at how he could carry on with these learned teachers. And there he was, speaking about the things of God with the most educated and the most learned people in their faith. And they could not understand how an adolescent, a 12-year-old, could be so knowledgeable and so mature in the conversation. But that wasn't Mary's concern. Boy, we've been worried about you. We've been looking for you. And we probably hear it this way, where have you been? Don't ever do anything like that again. And Jesus responds quite insensitively, why were you searching for me? Don't you know I had to be in God's house? Don't you know I had to be about my daddy's business? Again, they did not understand. It probably was a little bit more, it was a little noisier than that. I'm sure Mary probably took her hand to the switch. But what Luke says is they didn't understand. And I think that's appropriate for Luke to tell us. They didn't understand. 3 days of searching and worrying ended with Mary and Joseph finding Jesus right where they left him. And upon finding him there, all they could get out of him was, I had to be here. This is where I needed to be. But there was something in this encounter that Mary couldn't let go of. It was what Luke says. She knew that her 12-year-old was trying to tell her something that she could not so easily dismiss. She didn't understand it. She would have to treasure it in her heart. She'd have to think about this. What was that about? What was my 12-year-old trying to tell me? Why was he there? And what did it mean that he could talk with the leaders of the temple in this way? Oh, although Jesus himself knew that he must live according to God's call in his life, he too didn't know what it meant. Oh, like any other 12-year-old, Jesus had some growing up to do. But in the faithful confessions of a 12-year-old child, Mary and Joseph could see the first stirrings of a life committed to the work of God. Committing our lives to the work of God is going to cause trouble. That's where I'm going. You didn't hear me. Committing Our lives to God is going to cause trouble. Committing ourselves to new possibilities, new opportunities, a new way of being. God was doing something big and new, and their son was at the center of it. They didn't know. And their temptation is to scold him and to hold him, to hold on tightly and not let go. What they will have to confront is the truth that a life committed to God will lead him away from their comfort, away from their safety. All right, if you didn't hear it, a life committed to God may take you away from the comfortable, may take you away from safety. Jesus' behavior indicates that his overwhelming priority is his relationship with God. And his vocation and his mission are to be in the place where God is. Jesus models for us what it means to follow God's call, even when those closest to us do not understand. In light of Emmanuel, God with us, we too may find ourselves with a similar imperative, one that calls us to unplanned and unexpected places, one that calls us to a mission and vocation for which we didn't even know we had the gift, one that moves us away from family and friends to unexpected places where our gifts and services are needed in our own lives, in our own encounter with God, God real, God alive, God with us. What is our vocation and mission? That is a personal question, a corporate question. What is our mission? What is your mission? What is our call? What is your call? The anointed one has arrived. Where will they find us when they come looking for us? Oh. Where will they find us when they come looking for us? In what temples and with what teachers will they be talking about the things of God? In what places you ought not to be will you be when they come looking for you? Oh, I'm not making a judgment about it. Maybe you're supposed to be there. Maybe you're supposed to be there. No matter what age, many of us have had the experience of that prompting of the Holy Spirit that calls us to something or to be somewhere beyond comprehension. Many of us had the experience of our families come searching for us, only to find out that we were not where they expected us to be. Our families have gone to that Lutheran church looking for us. They went over there to that Catholic church looking for us. They even went to that evangelical church looking, we weren't there. And then when they found you, they said, we've been looking for you. And why are you treating us this way? And then our response is going to be, I must be here at MCC. This is the place where God has called me. I have work to do here. And sometimes they did not understand. Oh, our families have gone looking for us. I know. In all the familiar places we used to hang out. And then they found us at a pride parade or at the pride festival. Or they found us in the saloon. And they said, we've been looking for you. And we asked, why are you treating us this way? And you said, oh, but I had to be here. Because I must be bearing witness to the truth that I am created in God's image. And I'm going with the people like me. Oh, you didn't hear me. Our families came looking for us. They thought we were going to be at the places of power and prestige, only to find us on the front lines with those who cry out for justice, advocating for marriage equality, advocating for better and more effective treatment for HIV/AIDS, advocating for racial and gender equality, hanging with our transgender siblings. And they said, we've been looking for you. Why are you treating us this way? And you said, but I must be here on the margins with my siblings, crying out for justice. Oh, they're going to come looking for us. Where will you be? In the year 2016, when they come looking for you, where will we be? Will we be in the safe, comfortable places where we don't challenge the systems? In the safe, comfortable places where we allow injustice to keep going on and on and on? But when they come looking for us, where will we be? Oh, as long as we claim God and honor the call and purpose that God calls us to, many more people are going to come looking for us. Where will we be? Will we be able to say it like the 12-year-old Jesus? Why are you looking for me? Didn't you know? I have a call on my life. I'm supposed to be here, serving God and serving God's people. Oh, when our families find us in those unplanned and unexpected places, how will we respond? Will we follow the example of Jesus and claim the God who continues to claim us? Oh, you see, God claims you even when we don't even know how to claim God. Even when we forget to, God is claiming you and asking you to do it. Stand up and step up because you're mine. Will we respond to it? We here today have a high calling indeed. To be in the place, to be in this place, serving God during this time in this season. The message to us appears to be quite strikingly clear in a precocious 12-year-old child who probably needed a whooping, but who had the temerity and the strength and the courage and the fortitude to say, why were you looking for me? I'm in the house of prayer. I'm here with God, who risked dishonoring his parents for the sake of the call on his life, and whose sole priority was to live and work in service to the reign of God. When his parents came looking for him, they found him living into his call, and they didn't understand it. Whenever, whomever comes looking for us, it is my hope that they will find us tending to the work of the reign of God, working in the vineyard and serving God's people. Let it be so.